Hi everyone, welcome to Physionic, where we learn the body from the macro to the micro. In this content, I'd like to take a few moments to discuss, or more so explain, some of Dave Asprey's points during an interview wherein he discusses energy levels, mitochondria, and exercise.
Learn Your Body, a science-based education.
If you're unfamiliar with who I am, I'm a PhD student in molecular medicine. I work in an autophagy and apoptosis laboratory, and my master's thesis involved looking at skeletal muscle mitochondria. And if you're not familiar with Dave Asprey, he's the one who invented bulletproof coffee and is one of the leaders in biohacking. Here he's talking about mitochondria and the generically called powerhouse of the cell that supplies our cells with, energy. I'm going to correct some things he says and acknowledges points he gets right. Here's Mr. Asprey.
So mitochondria, their job is to stay alive, and then their job is also to kill off the weak. So you got to stress them enough to kill off the weak.
Really?
And that process is called apoptosis. If you don't do that, you get cancer. So you want to
stress.
You want to stress them, but not too much. So
Okay.
it's brief periods of stress.
Here he discusses stressing mitochondria to kill off the weak. There's some truth to that, although it isn't the mitochondria you're trying to kill your cells. I imagine that's what he meant. Mitochondria aren't just cellular factories of energy, but actually have a potent cell death system called mitochondrial dependent apoptosis, wherein mitochondria are torn open and their contents are exposed to the rest of the cell. This is sensed by the cell and leads the cell to undergo apoptosis, or programmed cell death. As Asprey mentions, this is a way that cells avoid becoming cancerous because the cell self-regulates for the greater good of the organism. That's you. If you think that's cool, I'm right there with you. It's really freaking cool. However, do you need to stress mitochondria for this to happen? No. I've said this before, you don't need to think for your body. It's far more intelligent than you are.
So there's
like ice
is great.
Ice tubs or ice showers.
Yeah, just a cold shower in the morning.
Yeah.
Not a whole cold shower, because cold showers suck.
for
Let's
a
face
minute
it.
or-
Yeah,
yeah.
just take a hot shower at the end, turn it on cold, do it all at once, and just feel the pain for a minute. Those little guys, they're going to freak out.
That makes them stronger.
They get stronger, and
Charged
the
up.
weak ones die, right? And then you burn more calories throughout the day, your brain is clearer, and inflammation goes down.
Those little guys, they're going to freak out. This is lovely biohack talk that means absolutely nothing. Your cells don't have expressions, and your cells certainly don't undergo apoptosis just because you put cold onto your skin. Keep in mind, your body maintains homeostatic temperature, so even if your skin is cold, the majority of your body is perfectly insulated and will not experience any dramatic changes in heat unless, of course, you freeze yourself to death. He also mentions that you'll burn more calories. While true that a cold environment increases thermogenesis, that's heat production by the body to compensate for the aforementioned temperature homeostasis, that effect will not go on for the entirety of the day, just because you slap some cold water on your body for a few minutes. So mechanistically, it's true, but in the real world, it'll make no difference due to the exposure time.
Another thing is exercise. So I looked at all the research on mitochondria and exercise, like what's going to make them stronger, what's not going to make them stronger. There's a set of studies that show if you go for a walk for 20 minutes a day, that increases mitochondrial function. That's it.
That's it. 20
Right?
minutes.
The other exercise, just so
Yeah.
people listening, I don't leave them going, I just have to
Yeah.
go for a walk. Once or maybe twice a week, but certainly once a week, you need to kick your ass. And there's two ways to do it. And these are actually both in the Bulletproof diet too, because we knew they worked, but we didn't understand the mitochondrial part of that back then. One is intermittent sprinting. Just basically sprint for 60 seconds. You want to increase the height and the trough, which is what you're doing.
Yeah.
You're telling these guys, you better be ready to just like bring it all at once. You're training the battery in your body to totally have a high voltage and then stop. So
you should stop and go on your back. You shouldn't keep
stop.
walking.
Yeah, at least sit down, better yet lay down.
Really?
For a minute, and then get up and sprint again.
As for his points on sprinting and mitochondrial stress, those are ridiculous. He's right that sprinting would lead to greater strain on the mitochondria and it would evoke a positive response. But lying down after sprinting can have disastrous consequences if your heart isn't capable of keeping up. So I strongly advise you not to try it until you've had a physical by your doctor and preferably a stress test by medical professionals if you've been sedentary for a long time. Your heart isn't the only muscle that pumps blood. Your peripheral muscles, especially your leg muscles, also squeeze blood back up to the heart. So if you lie down, you are removing your legs from the equation, leaving your heart to do all the work. And if you have a blockage in your heart of which you're unaware, it can cause a heart attack. It's relatively rare, but it does happen. I learned this through my university education during my master's degree in exercise physiology, and I explain the physiology with references in an ancient video of mine that I'll link for you. Look, at this point, Dave seems like he's making things up on the fly, whatever. The point is, some of the concepts he gets across aren't wrong, but they're devoid of context and need to be properly vetted. He's adding specifics that don't need to exist to make it seem like it's a more complex process than it is. Bottom line, exercise improves mitochondrial function. That's the takeaway. Don't worry about the specifics. I hope you learned a few things. That's the real aim of these videos, correcting big names so their audience can make the proper decisions on what to buy into and what not. And with that, I would encourage you to check out some of my other Spotlight content, and I hope to have the pleasure of speaking with you in the near future. Cheers.